What's up, everybody? Captain Gino here. I'm here with my man Tyler.
What's up?
Sorry it's been so long. I've delivered anything to you. I've been extremely busy. I know Tyler is regularly putting out content for you guys, but I got something great for you guys today. We're gonna do a fishing report. I know it's July, it's late, but it's summertime, and these fish are gonna be doing the same thing until October, September, October, somewhere in that vicinity. So we want to bring some good information to you guys. We're gonna start out with some real-time data from Water Atlas. It's going to help you guys narrow your search if you come out to the chain. I've been getting a lot of messages from you guys asking me what the fish are doing and what to look for, what's going on the chain. So I'm going to help you guys narrow your search a little bit. I'm going to explain why this information is valuable, and hopefully this will help you to catch more fish in a less amount of time out on the chain. So the last fish report I did, a lot of people were confused. I included the link to where I got the data from, and they were confused about where I was getting the visibility from. So that would be the Secchi disc, right? The Secchi disc reading. And why I pull from that is we want to know how far this light's getting down the water. That's what we're looking for as anglers. And what it's basically a Secchi disc is, just to keep it brief, it's basically a disc on a rope with measurements on it. They lower that down into the water, and wherever they start to lose visibility of that Secchi disc, they take the mark from the rope, and that becomes the visibility, the depth of visibility. You can do the same thing with your fishing pole and guesstimate it, your arm, an oar, whatever you got handy, some bright fluorocarbon line, whatever's laying around the boat. So we're going to go ahead and start out with, hopefully that puts some clarity for you guys. We're going to start with Big Harris. Big Harris, dissolved oxygen, fantastic. 8.9% dissolved oxygen. Anything below 3, bad, right? So we got great dissolved oxygen. Visibility's right around where it's been at, 2.62. You will find that on the south end, it tends to be a little bit clearer than it is on the north end, like towards the airport side. Yalaha, generally a little bit more clear. The curveball to that is going to be wind direction for numerous days back to back. You get a heavy wind blowing south, it's going to blow a lot of sediment down there, it's going to affect the visibility, and vice versa. But just to get you a rough starting point, 2.6. Why does this matter? You're going to find that the majority of your fish are going to be, if you're talking about offshore fishing, not shallow, because that bite's still good right now as well. But out in the deeper water, you're going to find the most success around 9 feet. You'll find fish out in 12 feet. You're going to find fish in 6 feet, 7 feet. But 8, 9 foot is generally where the bigger fish are going to be. The better dissolved oxygen. They're going to have plenty of light penetration down there. Ton of bait's going to be out there. If you're another good way to gauge that, and we'll go more in depth in other videos, but get on a main lake point and just idle your way out, and where that bait stops and the fish stop, or if they start suspending all of a sudden at 9 feet, then you want to stay in that 9 foot of water range. Moving on to, we're gonna get through this quick, and then I'm gonna get down to some good stuff, some fishing, what's going on. Okay, so Little Lake Harris, dissolved oxygen 7.97, visibility 1.64. Not great, Historically, it's been as clear as you've had 10 foot of visibility all the way to 4 inches of visibility. We're at 1.64 feet of visibility with a dissolved oxygen of 797. Fantastic oxygen levels in Little Lake Harris. We can thank FWC for that. They've done a tremendous job with our fishery. There was a point in time where we had no oxygen, Lake Apopka. Harris had, dissolved oxygen as low as 0.2. There's, basically invertebrates and stuff moving around down there, maybe some shad or something like that, but no bass living, and they brought the fishery back. They've done an incredible job. Obviously, some of you guys get frustrated with the spraying, myself included, everybody else, but that's not all in their control, right? These guys do everything they can. This is their home water. This is how they make their living. They do everything they can to better our fisheries. Very appreciative of those guys. We're doing really good. Lake Apopka. I'm really curious. When I got the information from Lake Apopka, Tyler's just there. You guys know that. He just put a video out there. And, looking at Lake Apopka canal readings, they match what he's seen. Because as he got towards the lake, there was some dead fish around. The visibility was really poor, a couple inches or whatever. The Lake Apopka shows 8.27 foot of visibility. We know this is not true. They had to get this from the spring. And they do include the waypoints. I mean the Latin launch. I did not have a chance to throw that in my graph. We are actually about to be out the door here as soon as we get done this fish report. I wanted to get something put together for you guys real quick. But yeah, I would say visibility probably, the average across the lake is probably closer to 2 feet. Dissolved oxygen, 3.14, dangerously low, right? You don't want to get any lower than that, or you're going to start seeing fish kills, which is already prevalent in certain sections of the lake. Tyler can testify to that. He was out there and seen catfish and all kinds of fish floating around dead. And this is because of the summertime heat. You have lower oxygen levels. You'll notice that, like, you know, Big Harris and Little Harris and a lot of these, you know, Dora and stuff like that, they were all in the 10s in the cooler months. You know, 9, 10, but you can expect 20% immediately as soon as you hit those warmer temperatures. And then couple that with the massive amount of spraying out there, no bueno for Lake Apopka.
It's insane. When we were out there, it was 96 degrees on Lake Apopka.
Gnarly, guys.
96 degrees.
Gnarly. But they caught a bunch of fish.
We caught a bunch of fish.
Yeah.
Not near the lake, but in the canal.
Yeah, as soon as you get towards the lake, it was death from what Tyler had to say. I haven't been to Apopka lately. I personally, the last couple days was in Harris, Big Harris, and Lake Eustis. And okay, so moving to Dora. Dora's dissolved oxygen 8.96. Fantastic. Visibility 2.62. Again, really good for Dora. Carlton, incredible. If you guys know Carlton, you've been around for any length of time. Carlton was primary flipping lake because the visibility was terrible. The visibility is at 4.59 feet right now. Absolutely fantastic with dissolved oxygen 8.5. Tremendous job they've done on that lake. Bouclair, dissolved oxygen 8.8 and visibility 4.27. Again, guys, you wonder why there's some giant bags coming out of the lake, and that is because the water quality is absolutely fantastic. Remember, you know, you get shifts in pressure or shifts in weather and low visibility. These fish already have a small strike zone. It shrinks even more. So when you're talking about a fishery that has double the visibility of the majority of the chain, you got a way better chance of getting those fish to fire up for you, and they're way less fickle. Griffin, moving in a positive direction. It was very, very scary. Dissolved oxygen was pretty low. It's at 6.5 right now for dissolved oxygen. Not terrible. And visibility 2.95, so visibility a little bit better as well in Griffin. Water flow. Expect whitewater rapids in Haynes Creek to get 615 cubic feet per second. If you've never fished it, you get behind the lock, throw a speed worm in there, reel it back out, and you'll absolutely smoke them. But keep in mind, there's going to be eddies created throughout, from the Burrell Lock and Dam all the way to Griffin. There's incredible opportunity to catch a ton of fish, and it makes it very predictable with that water flowing. You can see the eddies with your eyes and the breaks and points and pockets. Super easy to read when you got water ripping through there, rather than just looking at a vast canal filled with lily pads and trees and everything looks the same. This will help you out tremendously. You catch fish end to end. Fantastic time of year to get out there and have some numbers that you just couldn't believe you can catch out on the chain. It's just absolutely incredible when that water's flowing. Cannot stress it enough. If you can get out there during a weekday, it would be some of the best fish in your life. Definitely fantastic fishing. As far as the lakes go, Tyler pushed me out of Eustis, right? You were out in Eustis last week?
A few weeks ago, Eustis was sucking pretty bad, but it's starting to get good again.
Yeah. So, and then I talked to another guy that was out there, and he was having trouble. There's a ton of hydrilla out there right now, but he was not having a good time out there. So I get out there for like 5 minutes with my customer, and I'm like, you know what? These guys blacked me out. I left. I went to Big Harris, and it was absolutely lights out fantastic. I did notice that the bait was positioned off the bottom for the majority. You still had a lot of fish focused on shad. Despite the bluegill spawns going on, there's large concentrations of shad offshore. Had an excellent shad spawn. You're going to find those shad are going to be in that 2.5 to 3 inch range. But again, the majority are off the bottom, and I had a really hard time getting fish to eat on the bottom. I did so much better with baits that were slightly off the bottom, like a drop shot, for instance. And the shell bars I found at the schools, again, this happens in July, typically July, August, late July, August. The schools start to break up, and they've just been getting hammered. They've been offshore for a couple months. Everybody with a bass boat and good electronics has been out there banging them over the head, pinging transducers off of them. So they tend to break up a little bit. Makes it a little trickier to catch. You know, bass are very competitive in nature for food. So if you can find 2, 3, 4, 5 of them together, a little easier to get them to eat. When they're spread out, makes it difficult. So I decided to change my direction mid-trip and head over to some brush and it was ridiculous. Like we went from one brush pile, like one or two here, get on one brush pile, and it's like school end to end. I might even include a screenshot of my graph in the, if I can get rid of the waypoints that are covering up the screen, from the trip the other day. Just absolute giants stacked up on these brush piles. Definitely pretty incredible. If you're wondering where the brush piles are at in the chain, they're everywhere. I don't know what people do with their lives, but there's brush piles all over the place. I was fishing a brush pile, Tyler and I have fished forever, and I'm like, man, I'm getting bit. What's going on? Like I seen it on the side scan. It looked like there was so much bait on this brush pile that you couldn't even see the brush anymore. No, it was like maple leaves or some sort of hardwood. Yeah. Someone dropped new brush in there all of a sudden. That brush pile has been there since the 90s. But whoever the mysterious man is out there, thank you for continuing to replenish these brush piles, man. But yeah, there's tons of them. There's tons of them. A great place to look is in front of docks, man. Get in front of docks to where your side scan just touches the docks and the Kissimmee grass, and just make a pass around the lake. Yeah. You're going to find a pile of brush.
Oh, absolutely.
I guarantee you.
So easy.
You spend a couple hours, I promise you'll have a bunch of brush piles in your back pocket, and you'll catch fish, and it's a great way to do it. Deep docks are a fantastic way to do it. Running water, fantastic way.
Deep Kissimmee grass lines, y'all. I got on one stretch of a Kissimmee grass line, fishing for 20 minutes. I caught 3 fish flipping.
Wham, bam. Thank you, ma'am.
And canals. The frog bite is going off in the canals right now. Duckweed, shade, cooler water in the back of some of these canals. I was calling it. I literally have a clip. I was skipping a frog underneath the tree. I'm like, I'm going to catch one there. I popped it once. Kaboom! And fish just like that. It's going down.
Tyler's dad got out in
Dora Canal.
Dora Canal and just stroked them for like water. Days. Days.
Water. Oh, yeah. So many days.
He was gone fishing. He gets all getting excited when that happens, but I don't blame him. Yeah, so guys, running water. Look for running water. Deep docks, canals with duckweeds, shade, trees, offshore brush. You know, shell, it can be hit or miss. They seem to be real spread out to me. I'd like something that kind of consolidates, like bunches them together. I feel like I got way better odds of getting these fish to fire up a lot easier. You have the water clarity. You know, I would go, 2, 3, maximum 4 times the visibility. And make that judgment call on your own. If you get in a section of Harris and you're like, dude, I got 5 foot of visibility, go ahead and scan out to 15 foot, right? And you're going to find that generally speaking, if you watch my shell bar video, anywhere you have the grade going up shallower, right? There's a good chance there's going to be shell there. A lot of these Kissimmee grass edges have shell on the edges of them. Just throw a Carolina rig out there if you're unsure what it looks like on your graph. You're going to be blown away by how many shell bars are out there. There's like miles and miles of shell. It can be super. Once you realize how much shell's out there, you're like, oh my god, dude.
I'd recommend looking for shell bars starting, if you never fish shell bars, starting the mouths of like canals like Dead River.
Super easy. Oh yes.
Yeah, so easy. Like
Best advice you ever get.
Yeah, that's a sure way to figure out a shell bar pattern super quick, and then you just expand from there, going to like, size little holes, stuff coming up. It's super awesome.
Dead River, mouth on either side. Some of the chunkiest shell you ever find in your life.
You just got to get there. Got to get there early, because normally there's someone sitting there every single morning.
And the fishing's fantastic, man. People drive over it all the time, and the fishing's insane. You've seen me and Tyler fish there. I've one of the best days I've ever had for trophy bass out on the chain. We had 6 over 8 pounds. Chad White? Two of my regulars were out with me, and I think our first 2 or 3, maybe even 4, came from that particular area, and just holds big fish. And you'd be surprised, man. People just motor right by, and you can literally pull off the Buzzard Beach, drive half a mile, and be on the fish.
Yep. And points. Points.
Yeah. Awesome. Points. It's summertime. Points are fantastic.
For shell bars, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're on your graph and you're graphing through an area and you see all these like weird wavy stuffs on your side scan, that's sediment getting blown in there. That particular area generally will be a little bit tougher to fish. When it's recent, like if it was clear there the day before, and then all of a sudden that sediment blows in there, those fish get funky, brother. You can just move it along. But yeah, wind-blown points, super, super easy. 19 bridge. Guys, you can sack them up on the bridge. It is fire. There's a shell bar behind the bridge that has shell cracker beds all over it. So if you're wondering what bluegill beds look like, shell cracker beds, they're there. If you got kids and you want to go catch them, go there. There's a ton of them right now. They're piled up in there. And you got tons of inland silver sides running around there. You got bluegills feeding on that and speck feeding on that. So you got speck in there, you got striper in there, and largemouth bass are there. Literally, all the prey and all the predators hanging out in one spot. It's super easy way to catch them. Throw jigs around the bridge, drop shots, crankbaits. Try to make those crankbaits bounce off the piling. Don't get upset when you lose them. I've lost dozens there.
Don't get hung up.
Yeah, look for the swing set. You'll find the swing set. So, grass. Eustis has tons of grass. Harris, very little grass. Dora still has some hydrilla and tons of eelgrass, along with pepper grass. I don't like pepper grass so much in the summertime. Beauclair still has a ton of grass. Carlton, lots and lots of eelgrass and some pepper grass. And over there, I have not been in Denham. I don't go that time of year, this time of year.
Griffin, I'm predicting the grass is coming back right now as we speak. Because if you look at the water clarity levels from the last fish report you did, they've gone up. I'm predicting right now as we were speaking, the grass is coming back in Griffin like insane.
And guys are catching them in Griffin right now. I haven't been over there recently. Guys are doing pretty good. And you do have some grass coming back in the north end. I talked to a couple other anglers. And the south end, for sure, there's plenty of hydrilla down there, fresh hydrilla. The water clarity is fantastic down there. Swim jig bite is ridiculous in Griffin. If you get around pads, stuff like that, even in some of these canals. I haven't been recently. Tyler got in there and did pretty good. But, you know, when those bluegills get on those lily pads, it's a good place to look. You have a ton of bluegill and shell crackers that spawn all on them lily pads in Lake Griffin. And I find that to be, you know, as far as the place that has great fishable lily pads year-round, Griffin's one of the best spots in the chain. If you're coming to Florida, if you're in Florida, and you like fishing that type of cover, Griffin would be a great place for you to start. Just start in the south end. You'll see them. There's tons of them. And the south end tends to be a little bit deeper than the north end. I'd say the average depth is probably 3 feet deeper down south than in the north end. But yeah, get out there and go catch some fish. Don't be scared of the canals. Don't be scared of the creeks and the rivers. Find that running water. Find you some shade. Get you some brush piles and get out there and you can have the day of your life. I know it's hot right now, but so's the fishing, man. The fishing's really, really good. You just gotta listen. The lake's just about to yourself. Like there's hardly anybody out there in this heat. It's death, no doubt. You know, it's usually high skies, no wind, 850 degrees, dying in the morning, and then 70-mile-an-hour winds,
Lightning storms,
and rain in the afternoon, man. But if you compare the weather, get out there and get after a big one. I really appreciate you guys' constant support. Thank you so much. If you have not yet checked out Tyler's page, please check him out. Tons of good fishing on there, tons of exciting content, tons of great info. I make a sneak appearance here and there. But I appreciate you guys staying with me. Stay tuned. We got some real good stuff coming down. I know you keep hearing me. Oh, stay tuned. We got some good stuff coming. It's coming. It's just a lot of work. It's coming. We got you.
We're working on it.
Yeah.
We're getting it.
We appreciate you. Until next time, everybody. Tight lines.